So, you're signing a new IT contract, and all the excitement is focused on the beginning, right? The new features, the partnership, but what if the most critical part of that document is actually the end? Today, we're diving deep into the exit clause, your strategy for a clean break, planned from day one.
Okay, before we get into the good stuff, we've got a quick but really important heads up. This is Module 13 of a 20-part overview on regaining leverage in IT subscription contracts. All of this is based on some really comprehensive research from Virtualization Options LLC. Now, this is all meant to give you general principles, and it comes with no warranty. And to be super clear, this is not legal advice. You've got to work with competent legal counsel who knows the laws in your specific jurisdiction.
All right, let's kick things off with a really big question. Everything's going great with your vendor, right? The service is humming along, everyone's happy, but what's the plan for when things aren't so great? I mean, what's your actual documented, tested strategy to just walk away?
Now, this isn't about being pessimistic, you know? It's about being smart, being strategic. A powerful exit clause isn't a plan for failure. Think of it more as your ultimate safety net. It's your #1 defense against that dreaded and very expensive trap of vendor lock-in. And let's be absolutely crystal clear about what's at stake here. Ignoring your exit plan from the get-go, that's a huge, massive strategic mistake. It sounds a little strange, but to build a truly strong partnership, you have to have a super clear plan for how it could end.
So how do you actually build this safety net? Well, it all starts with a technical blueprint. I mean, before you even think about the legal language, you have to define exactly what data and what assets are yours to take with you. This, right here, is the very foundation of your data freedom.
You know, just asking for all my data back is a total recipe for disaster. It's just not specific enough. You have to get really granular. So here are the 6 critical types of data you absolutely must define for export, and listen, each one needs a non-proprietary, usable format. Let's break them down.
First on the list, tabular data. This is the bread and butter of your business, right? Customer lists, transaction records, inventory. But just getting a spreadsheet dumped on you? Nope, not good enough. You have to contractually demand a clean CSV format, and, this is so important, a data dictionary. Seriously, without it, you're stuck trying to figure out what some cryptic column name like cust_status_flag2 even means. The data becomes basically useless.
Okay, next up is structured data. This is the stuff with all those complex relationships, like a user profile that's linked to all their order history. And this is a classic spot where vendors can really trap you. Your contract has to explicitly forbid any kind of proprietary format. Instead, you need to demand industry standards like JSON or XML, and it has to come with a schema so you can actually rebuild those vital connections on a new system.
Then you've got all your documents and files. Sounds easy enough, right? Wrong. This is another really common trap. Think about it. If the vendor converts everything to some weird format or just dumps a million files into one giant folder with no structure, they've basically handed you a nightmare, a multi-year cleanup project you did not sign up for. So your contract has to demand native formats, with all the original file names and folder structures perfectly preserved.
And that brings us to a category that honestly gets overlooked way too often: configuration data. See, this isn't just the data you put in, it's the operational smarts you build on their platform. All those custom settings, those workflows, the business rules, that's an incredibly valuable asset. And you know, the last 2 items on our list, metadata and historical data, are just as vital. Metadata is basically the map to your data models. And your historical data, it's got to be exported with the timestamps intact. Without that stuff, your data loses all its context and a whole lot of its value.
Okay, so this conversation is now shifting beyond just getting your data back. We're talking about protecting your intellectual property. Because all those years of work you poured into customizing their platform, guess what? That's your asset. And your contract needs to say, in no uncertain terms, that you have the right to take all that work with you.
And let's be perfectly clear about this. Those custom workflows you spent months designing for your business, that's your intellectual property. Those unique business rules you coded in, that's your IP. The UI tweaks, the custom settings, it's all yours. You didn't donate that brainpower to your vendor. They are valuable assets, and your contract must guarantee your right to export them in a format you can actually use somewhere else.
Okay, I know we just went through a lot of technical detail there, so let's pull back for a second and just summarize the key takeaways for building that contractual safety net we've been talking about.
All right, here is your actionable checklist. Think of this as your game plan. First, define all 6 of those data types for export. Second, you have to insist on industry-standard, usable formats, no proprietary junk. Third, demand your configuration data. Remember, it's your IP. Fourth, and this one is so important, don't just get the words in the contract. You have to test your data export process on a regular basis to make sure it actually works when you need it. And finally, remember this. Having a strong exit clause isn't about being aggressive. It's a sign of strategic maturity.
So if there's just one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this. A strong exit clause is not about planning for failure, it's about ensuring your future freedom. This is really about proactively keeping control over your company's future.
So, I'm going to leave you with one last critical question to think about. I want you to go look at your own key vendor contracts, like right now. After everything we just talked about, ask yourself, honestly, is that contract a safety net that gives you freedom? Or is it a trap just waiting to be sprung? And that's a wrap on this explainer. All this information was based on some really comprehensive research from Virtualization Options LLC. They're a technology research, education, and advisory organization. Thanks so much for tuning in.